Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time for the Week 5 recap of fantasy football.
Harsh
Yeah.
reality.
Now, we got a couple things to go over, a couple news and notes from Week 5. Again, I hate that the season goes so fast. The weeks, it's so, and every week is the same too. Like first I'm just waiting for the waiver wires. Then I'm just waiting for Thursday. And then, I'm a comedian. I've always lived for Friday and Saturday nights. But then we get to fantasy football season. I'm like, okay, Friday, Saturday, great. Like I'm literally just doing my show so I can get just drunk enough to pass out and wake up and watch football. That's all I'm trying to do. And just the way life is
And
during
again,
football
you're going to
season.
have to wake up early again this week.
Yeah, dude. Oh, the NFL with these international games. I'm totally against it, but I guess they make a lot of money. They expand the game, blah, blah, blah. But let's
Yeah.
start out with some news, some reflections on week 5. What do you got for us, Scotter?
So here's what I learned from week 5. I learned that Theo Johnson and Jackson Dart are fire.
Yep.
Those two are on it. I learned that there's a guy on the Cowboys named Ryan Flanoy who I learned that like just last week. Didn't know he was there. I see you. That kid looks good.
Yep.
I learned that Daniel Jones and Michael Pittman are heating up. There's something to keep an eye on there. And I learned that Dylan Gabriel is passable. Not bad. Pretty good debut. Not too bad. He had that huge bomb to Shaheed.
And we were talking about how it was a tough start. International against one of the best defenses, if not the number one overall in fantasy so far this year, the Minnesota defense. So it was a tough start. He held himself up pretty admirably.
I think so too. I give him some credit. He might be one to watch. I learned this one as well. I learned that if you are a Colt and your name is Adonai Mitchell and you do not carry the ball through the end zone, you will not be playing the next week. And instead, we are going to give all of your opportunities to a man named Ashton Doolin.
Yep.
And he did quite well. He had a huge play in that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering who it would be too. And I was kind of wondering, was one of those things where they just sit in for like the first quarter and then they're like, all right, knucklehead, don't do it again. Get in there. They're like, no, you blew it. Sit down, stay seated.
Yeah.
And he was a high draft pick.
He was. I think he was a first rounder.
He was a first rounder.
You just can't make mistakes like this. I wonder what's going to happen to Demercado.
Boy, Shane Steichen is he is a stickler for completing the play. I'll tell you.
And that's good. That's good. There should be more people like him. You should suffer a consequence if you do something that's stupid.
And Adonai Mitchell has not played himself into a place where they can give him the leeway, like, okay, but we need you. Like, he just hasn't played himself into that place. So he can't make those mistakes. Some guys can get away with it. Some guys can't, just like all of the NFL. And he is on the can't list. Very clearly.
100%. My guess is that he'll be traded later on in the year because of that. This one is a personal note. This one's more for just me. Never bench Baker Mayfield. Never bench Baker Mayfield. Okay, I've been doing that the last.
Yelled it from the top of my lungs many times in our last episode. You can count on 3 things in life: death, taxes, and Baker Mayfield slinging the ball, baby. And I'm watching that game, and I was thinking to myself, I remember last season when I had to drop a quarterback to make some room on my roster, and it was between a very struggling Patrick Mahomes and a Baker Mayfield who had just lost Chris Godwin and potentially Mike Evans. Right. And all I kept thinking was, the only one I could count on to keep throwing the ball is Baker. So I dropped Mahomes, stuck with Baker, and won the title. And by the way, we're in first and second in the league, where our commissioner trade raped everybody last season for all their picks and had like 17 picks in the first 3 rounds, and we're in first and second.
Yeah, we are.
So
amazing.
Amazing that we put together teams around that are beating his ass.
I think he had like 8 picks in the first 2 rounds. No, it wasn't that egregious, but he had
an insane number of picks in the first 2 rounds, like 6 picks. And the other thing about that is,
we changed the rules that we can't trade first round picks anymore.
You know what? We should change the rules where you just, because I was thinking about it too. Trading picks makes no sense unless you're in a dynasty league, because you don't get to keep that guy again next year. You only get him for the
if it's
remainder.
a keeper league, you can trade for somebody who might be a potential keeper for you.
It's just not the same. I think you should only be able to trade picks in Dynasty because then you get somebody that you get to keep them no matter what.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
doesn't make sense in redraft leagues. It really doesn't.
that's
But
up for debate. I mean, look, if you know that you are like you just lost somebody big, right? And
yeah,
you need to trade a first round pick. You can't drop anybody, but you need to you need to sacrifice a little for next year in order to secure this year. Sometimes you have to do
just because
that.
it worked out for you in our other league doesn't mean we should do it again. I
I
just
I'm just saying.
I just don't think we
There
should.
are
I
reasons to
just
keep
don't
it.
think you should trade future picks in a redraft league. I'm against it, but whatever.
Fair enough. We'll have this debate with the
And
rest of the group, with the rest of the league. So here's another thing I learned: look, Arizona is a garbage team, and oops, he did it again. Demercado dropped the ball after 80 yards of
yeah,
holding on to it. For 80 yards, he needed to get 80 and a half, and he just decided he was going to go ahead and leave that behind as he crossed through.
yeah,
That was insane. Oh, he also slowed down. I know there was somebody punched or moved, like hit the ball out, but he slowed down and showboated for the
yeah.
last 10 yards. You are not somebody who can do that. And
Especially when instead of getting the start, the guy from the practice squad wound up getting the start, which I got to give some thanks to Micheal Carter because I had gone out and grabbed a bunch of shares of Demercado and had him in a lot of starting lineups. And then all of a sudden I read that Micheal Carter named himself the starter. And I'm like,
right.
and the second he did that, I'm like, he would. And then I'm reading and like, yeah, no, apparently he's been getting first team reps in all the practices. And I'm like, let me just put Demercado back down here.
Back on
So
the
I
bench. Yeah.
took him out of all those lineups, put in Dowdle. Thank you, Dowdle. Pew, pew, pew. And how rare is that when a guy that's a backup comes in and performs at that level? It reminds me of the Jay Ajayi season when he came in and had those back-to-back 200-yard games. So I'm a
Yeah, you know
little,
what? Jay Ajayi is personally responsible for Arian Foster's retirement. Remember, Arian Foster was on Miami for a little bit. He never
really,
played. He never played because he was always hurt. And then, like right as he was about to like get ready, Jay Ajayi got those 200-yard games back to
yeah.
back, and then he retired mid-season.
Well, and Jay Ajayi is also responsible for ruining like 4 teams for me the following season, which also was the last time I ever like went all in on one guy across all platforms
Yeah,
because I was like, oh, he was going in like the fourth or fifth round, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna light it up, and I went all in on Jay Ajayi across all platforms. He went out immediately, ruined my seasons. I mean, all of my teams tanked because of Jay, and ever since then, I've never gone all in on one player across all. He ruined that. He actually, it didn't ruin it. He taught me a
I
very
was going to say
valuable
he taught
lesson.
you a lesson
He taught me a
exactly.
very painful lesson, but lesson learned. And now I have a lot greater diversity across all my, even though they're all winning, they're all very different. And there's no one
Yep.
player that can ruin it for everybody the way he did that year. And I even actually think he went, actually, it was at the back end of the first round, but it was at the back end. So I saw it as like a big value pick, you
Of
know?
course. I did
And
too back then. I think I was I remember thinking how mad I was when you got him because I didn't think anybody was really thinking of him and I was so pissed.
yeah.
And then I was just so thankful, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh man,
Totally.
sometimes
I mean, he tanked 4 teams for me. It was so sad. Oh my God.
brutal.
Okay, now let's move on.
We
Do you have
got a
any more? Oh, a couple more.
couple
Go ahead.
more
Keep going. Keep
observations. Is
going.
that the Patriots are not a joke? If they had a running back who didn't fumble at least twice a game, then they might even be great. And Travion Henderson seems to be a preseason hero and an in-season zero. And
I
it's
have to
Philly.
agree with that. On that note, I have to
Yeah,
agree with that because even when he gets opportunities, he's not flashing the way that he did in preseason. I know it's preseason, but I mean, we saw it with Scadaboo, we saw it with
yep,
Krosky. We're
yep,
seeing these things, like with Krosky, even though he was stuck in that committee, he was starting getting, every time he got the ball, he would take advantage of the opportunity.
yeah.
Henderson does not seem to be doing that.
I don't understand it.
And so it is kind of relegating him to what you're about to say. Go right ahead.
Uh, for the seven.
Well, that he's droppable. You had told
Yeah,
me
I
that.
think I do think that he is. He is droppable at this point.
I'm not
It's
doing
sad,
it.
especially with bye weeks coming. Look, I'm not saying he's a must drop, but I'm saying if you have to
He's
drop
droppable.
somebody,
I listen. I know.
you can let him go, and somebody else will pick him up, and then he'll be their problem,
Yeah.
instead of yours. Right now, he's still going to stay as my problem. But I'm curious. I have a question that I take away from last week, which is Philly a paper tiger? That going for two that Peyton did was incredible after such a sluggish offensive start that he did that, and
Yeah.
then he got it. I thought was amazing. We know he's creative. He did the onside kick in the Super Bowl. It's a shame that now you have to declare onside kicks. I don't understand that
That makes
rule,
no sense. Oh,
but
the whole point is the only way it works is with the element of surprise.
it's a secret. Yes, it
The
should be
only
a
way
secret.
it works is with an element of surprise, unless it's like everyone knows that's what you're about to do and everybody lines up for it, and it's like the last 2 seconds of the game, so you know you're going to have to. But other than that, if you want to use it as a weapon, it has to be a surprise.
I mean, I don't understand. If they have that rule, then why isn't the rule you have to announce a fake kick?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. The whole point is that it's supposed to take you off guard.
Right. You're supposed to look like you're going to send it down, but then you dribble it out to the side and hopefully the guy gets it. I couldn't agree with you more on this point that they have ruined the onside kick because of that.
Yeah, it's almost
having to
irrelevant.
Declare it is so weird. Hey guys,
and
hey guys, we're gonna try something here. Like you can't
get
do
ready.
That.
Get ready. Get your hands team.
Get your hands team. Put everybody on the corners up
everybody
close.
Ready.
Dumb.
And they even took away, everybody lining up on one side. Like you can't do that either anymore.
Right.
So anything that would have given that play a chance at success, they've stripped away.
And there was no reason to take it out of the game. It's a valuable part
I don't
of
remember a lot
play.
of injuries coming from
onside that
kicks.
Play.
From onside kicks. Yeah, I don't remember. I understand the changes in the kickoff rule, and I kind of like it.
Right, because everyone's going 100 miles an hour straight at
Correct.
each other, Braveheart style. So
yes, that's going to lead to some problems.
Yeah.
But anyways. But so the Ravens are on life support. It might be the death of King Henry. Rico Dowdle, dude, wow. 26 carries, 206 yards, multiple over 40-yard rushes.
That's an average of 10 yards a fucking run.
That's amazing. I don't know why they would do anything other than that. And it's weird because they didn't play that all. Like that all happened mostly second half. Like the whole first half.
No, you're right. Yep.
So he did like all of that in a half. Imagine what he's going to do versus his old team, Dallas, next week when he comes to town. Wow. There was a couple of injuries, and there's not many, but there's Omarion Hampton, IR.
Gone.
So he's done for at least.
But it's not like Najee where he's gone for the season.
No,
he's gone for a few weeks. He's going to be gone for like minimum. 4 weeks. Yeah,
4 weeks minimum, could be 6. You got Kamani Vidal, and you got Hassan Haskins as backups over there. I imagine that Haskins would be the priority ad, but I'm not sure either one.
But this is one of those situations where while they may have the opportunity, they're not the same. They don't have the Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris level talent. They just don't. These aren't guys that we don't know what we're getting. They've been in the league a couple of seasons. They've shown what they've got. And the guy that I actually like better is Kamani Vidal. I mean, if I'm going to...
Because of the pass catching?
Yeah, pass catching and just overall. I mean, he seems to have a little more burst.
He does.
Than Haskins.
Haskins is a pounder.
Yeah, he's a little bit more of a plotter. And so
yeah,
I would, although they like that on first and second down, but again, just because they get the opportunity doesn't mean they're going to seize the same. Dowdle is an outlier of this opportunity.
Yeah.
He's a supreme out, just like Jay Ajayi was. That's why I remember it so vividly, because it's rarely a guy comes in and plays that well in replacement, because that means they just missed something in the offseason. That this guy has that they didn't see, that none of us saw. Usually, you know what you got, and these guys aren't as good as what you had.
Exactly. That's why they're where they are on the depth chart.
Yeah, but opportunity is the king.
If you take advantage of it, if you can take advantage of it, then you can Wally Pip your way in or out, of a position. Antonio Gibson looked like he had a pretty serious injury. I think he was crying.
He was. And it was very sad. It was sad to see.
But it
did. Okay. Not again.
Raylan Allen, I get it. Go ahead.
I'm not trying. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be a Schadenfreude here, but I mean, if you have Henderson and you want to see him get more touches, well, he just got some more touches.
You know what though? All this does is make us feel like we have an excuse to start him, and we should not do that. We need to stop.
Yes, we need Ramondre to get injured too.
Yeah, or at least fumble another 6 times.
That's the thing with the fumbling issues, and they're still giving him the ball over Henderson. Apparently, they're unimpressed with Henderson, so I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what? Quite frankly, so am I. And then Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton are both questionable. It's early in the week, but all the more reason to go and we'll talk about it on the waiver wire.
Yeah,
but. That's it. Those are my notes. That's what I learned this week.
And I've got a couple told you so's. Just really quickly. I mean, we've really been killing it on our prognostications. I mean, Scotty came right out and told you, take a flyer on CJ Stroud. I emphatically agreed, and he wound up being. No, I don't think anyone expected QB1.
Number one,
but he went out there and killed it.
Balled out.
So I also said Stephon Diggs. Play Stephon Diggs. He's getting better. The chemistry's happening, and he had the revenge game versus Buffalo. Oh, well, what is it, 146 yards, something like that? It was.
I think it was 100.
Maybe not 146. Maybe it was like one.
I think it was like 106, 114, something
like that. But it was definitely over 100 yards and over 10 receptions. So
he looked fantastic. Like old Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
He looked like Minnesota Stephon Diggs.
So if somebody made a mistake and dropped him in your league like they did in one of ours, and I was able to just grab him, I grabbed him for free. So that's how.
I think he's out there still.
We had said grab Stephon Diggs. He's a flyer. Throw him into your thing. He paid off. I said specifically Theo Johnson was the guy that had the connect that Dart felt safe with. Was Theo Johnson. He didn't know the other guys. And sure enough, 2 touchdowns later, Theo Johnson.
Yeah, and no one else splashed at all.
At all.
No one. It was only him.
Yep.
And then the running game, and that was it.
Yep.
So awesome call there, because you told people not to spend money on Slayton.
Yep.
Or Robinson, but get Theo, and he was probably $1 or a $0 bid.
And he's still available in a lot of our leagues.
Yes, that's why he's definitely on my waiver wire list. I'm sure he's on yours.
I made the point. We made the point of trading for Jamar Chase last week. We even said next week's price is not going to be this week's price. You get him at this week's price before they trade for a quarterback. And what happened? First, he goes out and has a monster game with Browning anyway. And then today, the exact guy I said they would trade for, Joe Flacco, it came through the wires. And we were both like,
It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen was you thinking it through on our podcast last week, talking about, I was like, oh, that's kind of a good idea. I wonder if they, either someone, maybe they're listening, because it was exactly what you said, and it happened immediately. Like, it was shocking. It was incredible. Well done, dude.
And like we both said, last week's price is not this week's price.
Nope.
Now he's going to cost you so much more. In fact, you can't get him now, probably. Now you probably won't be able to get him after he had a good game with Browning and they're bringing in Flacco. No one's letting him go now. They would have let him go last week for somebody good. Right. Somebody maybe not as you. I mean, you could have gotten somebody else for him that was good, but not without spending your top tier.
Yeah, we were talking about a straight up trade between for
like Scatterbo. Yeah. Right?
Like, those days are over. Like that deal's
there's no way
table.
They're taking Scatterbo for him now. Now you'd have to give him,
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving. Yep, that's what it would take.
Or
it would
take somebody of that caliber. He just crushed it, and you don't know with Joe coming in. You know that he's good at hyper targeting.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be afraid to throw it, and he's certainly not going to be running it. So you don't have to worry about him vulturing anything.
So you're probably not going to get him this week. It's going to cost you too much this week.
Correct.
Now, one of the other observations that I made was you don't know who Dylan Gabriel was going to throw the ball to. I said there would be some practice squad guy. This always happens. Some guy that you don't even know the name, but that's the guy he's been throwing it to in the off, this whole time on the sideline. And that guy's name was Isaiah Bond. And while it wasn't a huge splash day, he did better than Jerry Jeudy. Jeudy, I think, got 1 target, 1 reception. I mean, everybody
he's like
else
non-existent.
But we also told you play the tight ends, because the tight ends and Njoku and Fannin, they're always going to be the safety valve for the new guy. And sure enough, both of them scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
So
I think they're both really. I think they're both now. They've been elevated. Both of those tight ends. I think it just sucks because there are two, and you just God. I feel like it's.
Njoku at first when he first hit Fannin, I was like, oh, it's Fannin. But then he hit Njoku and I'm like, oh, it's Njoku.
And Njoku had a really
monster game. A monster game.
Really
I fired him up. I started him, and thankfully
wait, breaking news. This just came across the wire. Odell Beckham Jr. is accepting offers from
6-game suspension.
What? For what?
PEDs.
Oh, I thought it was.
So he's re-entering the league, but he can't play for 6 more weeks.
6 weeks?
Yeah. Because he didn't accept the suspension, I guess, at the beginning of the season. So he's accepting it now. So it kicks it. I don't think it's a time served situation.
I didn't even realize he was still in the league.
Maybe it is. I didn't know he was still in the league either. I thought he retired.
So, I mean, I just think it's funny. I don't know how desperate you got to be. I guess if you're the 49ers.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And by the way, and one more we told you so. Scott was really big on starting Ladd McConkey, and I agreed with him. I was like, this is going to be the week that he gets back involved. And sure enough, it was. He definitely took over, and the other 2 guys took a real dip because of it.
So, they both busted.
Yeah.
Both Keenan and Huge busted.
Yep. So those are but we had a lot of good ideas. Listen, if you're not listening to us, if you're not paying attention to the things we say, I mean, you're
suffering.
Yeah,
you're suffering. You're
missing out on a lot of great instinctual tips.
For real.
All right, so let's get.
Let's hook them up with some waiver wires.
Yeah,
right?
buddy, let's do it.
All right, quarterbacks.
Who you got?
I got 3.
All right.
Jordan Love was dropped in most leagues.
A lot of leagues,
because they were on bye. I would take him versus Cincinnati.
Yep, take that off my list. Good call.
Caleb Williams is out there as well, also from the bye. He was dropped a lot. Him versus Washington. And after what I saw last night, I'll put Trevor Lawrence versus Seattle on that list as well now. I mean, I used to never want to ever play him.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to see this Liam Cohen effect is real.
Oh, yeah. Liam did the right thing, which is he realized, okay, this guy's dumb, so we need to lean on the run game.
Right.
Then let that open up the pass game, as opposed to asking this guy to actually read the defense and figure out where to put the ball.
Right.
Okay. So now when he throws the ball, it's a timing play. And you could see that on a couple of plays where he put the ball and no one was there. And you knew that guy was supposed to be there. It wasn't a misfire on his part. It was a misroute on the runner's part. And I'm like, and that's how you could tell it was a timing play. And that's what he needs. He needs to not think. That's what Liam Cohen figured out. This guy is a really good looking idiot. So I need him to not think. I need him to either hand the ball off or just throw it to a spot and just pray for the best. And it's working.
Yes. It looks great. What happened last night was amazing.
Yeah. Lawrence, he ain't Baker. He ain't going to figure it out during the play. Okay.
No. Although he looked like Baker on the last play.
He did.
Fall down, get up, fall down, go through 2 tackles and win the game.
Well, and that again, that's the kind of confidence that comes with winning.
Yeah.
He's winning games. And you saw he fall down. He stood up, fell again. And then he thought, no, I'm not losing this game. You could see his brain kick in like, no, we're not done. Get up, run. And it happened. I mean, the promise of who he always should have been came true in that last play for his team of the game.
Incredible. Truly incredible.
Yeah.
I give him a lot of credit. It was very cool. What do you got? Is there anybody that I missed?
Nope, that's all. The only one I really had was Jordan Love.
Okay,
and only because I saw him on the wire in one of our leagues. So I was like, oh, Jordan Love's out there. All right, well, if someone dropped him, pick him up. That was it.
Yep. So you get the fun one. Running backs, there's some fun.
Oh, there are. I mean, first of all, Bill Krosky. I know I had to drop him in one league. So I was already, it was a league where I had him and Scattaboo. And so I was keeping Scattaboo and I needed wide receiver help. So I had it. So a lot of people dropped him. But it's going to cost you again. Last week's price is not this week's price. He's going to cost you a fortune. And the big fear is that was kind of a one-off. They go back more to the committee thing with Rodriguez, and they stick to that formula again starting next week. I don't know if that was just because Jaden Daniels was a
right. That's what I was about
situation.
To say. Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah.
And hopefully that is. And if so, pay that money. This guy's the truth. I kept him where I could. I kept him. I think I had to drop him in 2 leagues, but I kept him in 2 leagues. And so it's going to cost you, but I love this guy, and it pained me to let him go where I had to let him go. But I wish I could get him back with the teams that I dropped him from have very strong running backs already. So there's very little I could do there. But if he's out there, pay the money, get that man.
I got a question.
Yes.
Would you drop Kenneth Walker for him?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
On the edge. I'm on the edge of doing that because I feel like I got more upside with Krosky.
But he's the lead dog for sure in Kenneth Walker, even though they've been giving Charbonnet a lot more run this season.
And they're giving him all the goal line work, which is
very strange.
Yeah,
very
he's
strange.
Not the big guy.
The big guy's Walker. But yes, they keep giving goal line work to Charbonnet. But I don't know. I feel like that's more of a certainty over there versus Krosky. It's one of those things.
I'm always afraid he's going to re-injure himself.
Yeah, I got it. Also on the RB list, I only have 2 more, and because it's pretty thin in terms of waiver wires that are worth picking up. But Isaiah Davis, the Jets are clearly sticking with this 2-back rotation. He's taken the Braylon Allen role, and of course,
it looks good,
and he's very talented.
Yes. Yeah, it looks good.
Very talented. I scooped him up last week for free because I knew they were going to do this. It's exactly what I expected them to do. And again, anything happens to Brees.
And he got injured. He got banged up in that game.
So
he looked good though. He looked good versus Dallas, but he got banged up.
He did. So listen, Isaiah Davis, if you didn't pick him up, get him now. Get him, hold him now. And
especially if you're a Brees Hall manager, you really should.
You should already have him if you're a Brees Hall manager. But a lot of them have not picked him up. He was on all of the wires pretty much that I was checking out. So Isaiah Davis is a big pickup as far as I'm concerned. And then I'm okay. Listen, if you're down there, you're struggling, right? You need to swing. You got to swing for the fences. You need a hit. You got very little fob money left. Your back's against the wall. There's one guy floating out there. No one's looking at him. He's at the bottom of the lists, but he's the one acorn that could turn into the mighty oak. And I'm talking about Caleb Johnson. Caleb, I know.
You keep trying to make this guy happen.
I know. But we're after the bye week. He's a little more integrated, hopefully. And we don't know what's going to happen over there. I'm just saying, if you, like I said, you're in a terrible situation. You got no fob money left. You blew it all. You got no good pieces you can trade away. And I've been there. I'm telling you, the one acorn that might turn into the mighty oak that's sitting down there for free, Caleb Johnson. You can get him for $1 if you want to just make sure you get him.
I feel the same exact way about Rashard Smith.
Very good call.
In Kansas City.
Yes. I was watching him yesterday.
You just said, that's the same feeling that I have for him. He's got the juice.
He's shifty.
They're getting him more involved.
I think pass catching.
Better. Yeah, he's better than
he's better than both of them.
Running backs.
He's better than both of them. So, he is. I would agree. Get Rashard Smith now. Put him on your bench. The opportunity is going to grow over the course of the season. I like that pickup a lot too. Rashard Smith is another one. If you need an acorn that just might turn into the mighty oak, it's not going to happen this week, but it might happen for you this season.
You know, it might. It really might. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's sooner than later in my
With Rashard Smith, certainly. With Caleb Johnson, you kind of need a lot of dominoes to break your way, but if they do and he gets the opportunity, he just hasn't gotten the opportunity. And he's one of those guys that's like a Derrick Henry. You can't just run him once and be like, it didn't work. Okay?
Yeah.
That's not who he is. You got to give him the runs. Let him pound it out. Let him break him down. Let him find the juice. And they're just not doing that right now in Pittsburgh. But that doesn't mean they won't. Again, I just love the talent. And I just feel like, again, if you're desperate.
Well, I hear you. But this week, I'm looking at the same team. And I say, well, Gainwell was either not picked up or dropped by everybody because he was on bye. and we don't know if Jalen Warren's coming back.
I didn't see Gainwell available anywhere.
I'll tell you what, he's available in our league of record.
He is?
Yeah, and I'm gonna look him up right now and see how available he is across leagues.
Okay, because I didn't see him in any of our leagues. I would be surprised if he was available. But if he is, yes, grab Gainwell. Because he looked great in the last game. But
Gainwell.
He's not a guy, again, you know what you have in Gainwell, and I don't think he's a guy that's going to produce like that week in and week out.
37%. Is that right? Only 37% rostered?
If so, Gainwell is definitely an option. Go out and grab him.
Yeah. I mean, Gainwell looked incredible.
He looked really good. I'm surprised he's still available, but it might be because they ran into the bye week, so nobody picked him up.
And then,
which means he's a sneaky play. Pick him up.
And a lot of people didn't think or feel like Dowdle was somebody important enough to get, or he wasn't going to do what he did. Now that he has, if he is available, you will have to pay.
He's going to cost you.
It's going to cost you, but this week is going to be amazing for him versus Dallas. I mean, against his old team. And I think that Chuba probably is still not going to play. So he'll get all of those carries. And if he did what he did in basically the back half of the game, starting from the beginning versus Dallas, I mean, pay the money if you need it now.
I think I grabbed him in 3 or 4 leagues, maybe even more. And
every league we're in.
All for free.
Smart.
Sometimes you gotta make those moves.
And then if you want to look at Haskins,
Haskins,
Haskins, if you want to look at him, go ahead.
I like Vidal better. I would grab Vidal, but both of them, again, just because they have the opportunity doesn't mean they're going to blow up. Doesn't mean they're going to be like what you had in Amari and Hampton, what you had in Najee Harris. They're just, they're
totally different.
Yeah, I mean, they're top end. Maybe a flex play, maybe. And again, we don't know which one's going to get more return. Who's going to be doing what? I mean,
is it Demercado or is it Carter?
Yeah,
it's one of those same situations.
Well, at least Carter let the cat out of the bag on that one. We don't. Well, I mean, it'll probably be Haskins for second, Vidal third. That's the way it'll go, third down.
And then he may start being so effective on third
that they just start giving him the runs,
flipping it. And
I like Vidal better than Haskins.
Fair enough, especially in a PPR. He definitely got more value there.
Yeah.
How about wide receivers?
For me, now listen, he's probably not available in your league, but if he is, you go and look for him because he's hanging around at the bottom. But Rashee Rice will be coming off of IR or off of suspension after this week. So you want to grab, again, next week's price ain't going to be this week's price. So if for some reason he's still sitting out there on your wire, you go grab Rashee Rice right now.
You know what, though? Even if he's not out there,
make a trade deal.
Take a look at the manager who has him. Is he suffering because of this 6-week block on the roster? Is he ready? Like, I know he's waited all this time and now he's going to do it. But he might be desperate.
Maybe
he might need something. So this might be the perfect time for you to trade for him because, once he starts, he'll probably just immediately take it. It's not like he was injured and coming back. I mean, he's healthy and fine. He's going to come in strong, and they need him desperately. Yeah, they're going to use him as a running back as well. Absolutely. So might look at that. What else you got? Well,
all right, go ahead. Who do you? I mean, for me, it's Doolin, who we had talked about at the Colts.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, but sneaky play. Guess who's coming back? Alec Pierce.
Oh, yeah.
And Alec Pierce really is the guy. He really is the number 2. And he wasn't physically injured. He just got conked in the head. Mm-hmm. He was in concussion. So, and he's been out for 2 weeks, which means he should be fully healed up by the time he comes back this week. And he's the guy that I think is going to be more the number 2, even over Doolin. Doolin had a good week. Doolin had a very good week. But for me, and again, he'll be cheap because nobody sees it coming, Alec Pierce.
I like that one a lot. Alec Pierce has shown his brilliance throughout the last few years as far as deep balls. And whenever you thought it was going to be downs, whenever you thought, we're all in on downs, we're all in on downs.
It was never downs. It's never downs.
It was always Pierce.
Thank you. Yes.
And that's through all of the different quarterbacks that he's had this carousel of quarterbacks. he is fantastic. That's a very good one. I almost forgot about him because he's been gone for so long.
And let me just look at, because his record before players, let me just pull this up really quick. Go ahead, do one of yours while I look this up.
Well, we talked about him, Flanoy. You know what? Maybe just stash him if you don't really need somebody. He's a good grab and stash if you don't need one. And then I think this week, Matthew Golden versus Cincinnati might be a great waiver wire ad. He's sort of been coming on a little bit slower than we wanted. He's not where we want him to be yet, but this might be a great opportunity for him to actually start to hop up there. And Kendrick Bourne, if Mac Jones is playing, how could we forget that connection that they had at New England? Why weren't we thinking of that, last week? I've always been a fan of Bourne. I liked him when he was on the, when he was on the Niners originally, and then and New England originally, rather. I really liked him. He can flash, but they clearly have a connection. And boy, he looked great.
Yeah,
he looked great.
So I really quickly looked up Alec Pierce. I looked it up earlier when I wrote this because I was like, yeah, let me just look. Okay, game 1, he only had 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
First week, Daniel Jones. Second week, 11 points. Third week, 11 points. So double digits in 2 of the 3 weeks that he had a chance to play with Daniel Jones. Now he's coming into a team that's humming, and I think he steps right back in there, baby, and gets that. I mean, the chemistry clearly is there.
100%. Those numbers are great for a flex. I mean, I want to get double digits. It's better than Pacheco. It's better than Godwin. It's better than some of these bigger names that you're putting in your flex right now. I would definitely be happy to get 11 points out of Travion Henderson. So
agreed.
Maybe take Alec Pierce.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sneaky play, grab Alec Pierce. Now, another guy. Now, this is a guy that you tried to make happen a lot last year.
Oh, Leggett. Here we go.
But he got a touchdown. And we had said at the beginning of the season that having Tet McMillan on the other side might be just what he needed to get, he gets covered, the second cover guy. He gets second level help. So now he's the guy. And sure enough, it finally happened. And I think it's the start of him being something versus being nothing. Being something in Carolina. I don't think he'll take over Tet McMillan's role by any reason or standard, but I think he could find himself in a productive role.
And that incredible matchup.
It could, yes.
Week, incredible matchup this week versus Dallas. It's so juicy. It's such a great time to try it. This is the time to give it a whirl. I mean, especially, that might be more of a DFS thing, but you know what? With all the injuries and all the bye weeks and all the crap happening, you might find yourself, or you might be so down, before the kickoff of that game that you need to do something. You need to swing for the fences. You need a home run. That might be the way to go.
It might be. I don't think he's going to give you a home run, but if you're looking for production, he can be productive.
Xavier Leggett. How about, you know what? There is something else we should mention is, again, if this is for teams who are doing fine with wide receivers. If you've got IR spots, maybe take one for Christian Watson of the Green Bay Packers. He just reported to practice on Monday, so his 21-day window opens. We're talking about 3 weeks, right? I mean,
and that's only if you have an IR spot.
If you have an IR spot,
because you can add him, move him into IR, and then add somebody else immediately, and it doesn't hurt you at all, and it probably costs you nothing.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. You might want to sneak him in now,
and then down the stretch,
and then who knows? 3 weeks later, when it's time, he'll get that one giant, incredible touchdown that he'll hurt himself again on. But you'll get it.
But you'll win your week.
But you'll win your week. Exactly.
The other wide receivers, shockingly, Calvin Ridley got dropped. And then, of course, he has the Calvin Ridley game. That's the way that this goes. But, they got a taste of winning, even though they probably shouldn't have won that game. They did win that game, and that's all that matters. And it's and sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes that's all you need is just to taste winning. So you
One
could,
win.
It's like when you haven't had sex in a long time, when you're a single man and you haven't had sex in a long time and you kind of, you look desperate, you feel desperate. Every move is desperate. Women can smell it on you. They don't want to do it. But then you finally do it one time. You're like, oh, that's right. I'm great at this.
I can do this.
I deserve to do this. I'm pretty good at this, right?
Yeah.
That could be this team. And,
getting back on the saddle.
Yeah, and suddenly, and remember what I was saying about Calvin Ridley. It wasn't that he wasn't getting the targets. They couldn't catch this rocket ship that was coming out of Cam Ward's hands. He just was, everything was on a line, just firepower, and it was just, But I think he's finally learning to put a little more touch on the ball, that not everything has to be a rocket. And I think they're learning how to catch that ball. And I think we saw it come together a little bit this week. And I think Calvin Ridley, I know he was dropped in a few of our leagues.
Yeah.
If he's out there, now's the time to buy Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, and another great time to start too. I mean, they're playing who's Tennessee? They're playing. Oh, they have a good matchup.
Is it Arizona?
Vegas.
Vegas. It is Vegas.
Right?
It is Vegas, yes.
I think.
I don't trust their defense, but I think it is Las Vegas.
Vegas at Tennessee. So I mean, geez, that's a pretty porous team. Both of them really. Might be a good time to give it a whirl. Calvin should have a great game versus them. I'm just saying
week. Now is the time, and he could wind up being a starter for you the rest of the season, honestly. He has the talent and the targets. There just haven't been the production. The production's starting to happen. Get in on Calvin Ridley right now.
And you should also ask him, what he likes for the lines and the spreads this week, because he's very good at gambling.
Oh, right. Well. That's what he got in trouble for.
That's what he got kicked out of the league for. And now
first he was injured, and then he was kicked out for a year because of that.
Personal reasons. We come to find out he was gambling. But now, and they were like, oh, you can't do that. The NFL brought to you by DraftKings and Sports Picks. And this is the ESPN.
Oh, my God. Every sports show,
must be pissed.
Even the college pregame was like, now we're picking against the spread. These picks are against the spread. I'm like, oh my God. Jimmy the Greek is rolling in his grave that he wasn't allowed to talk about this every single week. All the sportscasters, even Al Michaels has got to be like, my whole career, I had to veil the comments. Like, maybe you like what's about to happen. Maybe, now they're just like, we're all picking against the spread. I mean, the way they I feel like they're making so much more money on the gambling than they ever did on anything else.
Sure.
Everything is about the gambling now. That's our in-game parlay.
Yeah, right? In-game. That's right. They also have in live betting. What's he going to do on this snap?
Unbelievable. And that just shows you that America is so hypocritical. Oh, no, we don't believe in gambling. And they're like, oh, we do? Okay, like, all in. Gambling, let's just do it with prostitution. Let's just go all the way, make it all legal. That's what we should do.
Greg Wilson for president.
Damn right. Write that down. All right.
Tight ends. You mentioned last week, it was we made a little clip out of it and put it out there on the reels, and we got it out way early. You talking about don't spend the money on Wandale, don't spend the money on Slayton. Theo Johnson, and he's still available. It's not the best matchup versus Philly, but I still think that long run, if you need a tight end, that might be the priority ad. And then I like AJ Barner a lot.
He's really starting to, the connection is there, especially on scoring plays.
Yes,
they're going
he's
to
pretty
it
strong.
In the end
zone. I didn't know much about him until this last couple of weeks. He didn't really flash, but now I'm watching him and he's getting more and more involved, and I see a lot of talent there, not just luck. So I think that he might be somebody, and he's got a good quarterback. So you want to pick guys who have good quarterbacks and good connections. This one doesn't have the best quarterback, but he's had 19 targets in the last 2 games as a tight end. His name is Mason Taylor for the Jets.
All right.
He will be playing against Denver and their vaunted defense.
I was going to say, and I'm starting that defense.
Yes, absolutely.
In as many leagues as I can.
Absolutely understandable. but 19 targets in 2 weeks. I know that you don't get paid for targets. You'll get points for targets rather, but some of them going to hit.
You got to start with targets before you can get the points. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So those are
and
three.
A guy that I've been trying to make happen that is finally starting to happen.
Who's that?
Evan Ingram.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
He's out there on a lot of wires. I gave up on him in a lot of leagues, and it's finally starting to happen. We were talking about the injuries and everything else.
Exactly.
And then he goes out there, gets a touchdown this week, starts to show a little more of that flash.
Looks a little healthier.
He does. I like Evan Ingram a lot this week
That's a great call.
pickup. And finally, here's one everyone has forgotten about. Okay. This guy's going to get you production. He's going to make you money. Okay. He's going to be real good for you. And you can get him so cheap right now. And his name is Jake Tonjes. Okay. He played on Thursday. He had a big game. Nobody remembers. His projection isn't great for this week. But I'm telling you, as long as Mac Jones is in there, Jake Tonjes is a real thing. So, and even when he comes back,
with both.
He's actually good. Yeah, he actually was. He was just as good. So just get Tonjes. Get Tonjes.
But my question, as the voice of the people, isn't Kittle about to come back like this week or next week? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, yes, he technically could come back, but come on, Kittle's in and out. These injury problems are not new. They are constant. So even if he comes back, you hold on to Tonjes. You play him every game that Kittle isn't in, and then every game he's out, you play him again. So, I mean, for this week, I think you could definitely pick up Tonjes and play him.
How about
and he ain't going to cost you nothing. You get him cheap.
Oh yeah, Tonjes is probably zero.
Yeah,
$0.
Probably get him for $1.
Because people are going to be going after those other names, these sexier names, that I've talked about. So like, no one's going to be bidding on.
And you know what? Another name is actually out there on one of our wires is Kyle Pitts. Because
of course he is.
He stunk, then he was good, and then they went into the bye week. So a lot of people didn't touch him because of the bye week. So he's hanging around out there. And if you didn't grab him on the bye week, grab him this week. The connection's happening.
That's a great
Him and Penix are a real deal, and I said it earlier this year.
You did.
And sure enough, it's coming around.
It's starting to happen. It's starting to happen.
And I hate the guy. I hate him. But boy, it's starting to happen.
I remember with his rookie year, his second year, Pitts, during our League of Record draft, we did it on Zoom, and you made a big speech before you made your pick, and you were like, I'm going to take this player because he is one of one. There's nobody else like this guy. And then you smashed Kyle Pitts. You made a big speech, and he sucked so bad. It was so fun.
The drunken Greg speech always backfires.
One of one.
Well, he is one of one.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he was one of zero that year.
Yeah.
0 for 0. Yeah, 0 of 1. And listen, I'm going to tell you guys, there's a guy out there on the wire that everyone's going to spend a bunch of fob on this week. And we've seen this movie before, and it never works out. And I warned you about Dobbs, how Dobbs is frustrating. You can't play him every week, but some weeks you can. This is another one of those guys. And if you go and waste all your fob on him, that's on you. And his name is Rashid Shaheed. Okay. There's a reason he's on the wire, because he does this. He has the one big game. Then everybody starts him. Then he does nothing. Dobbs, him. These are two guys that are going to frustrate you to no end. So, I mean, if you can get him for a song, great. But if you got to pay for him, do not pay for Rashid Shaheed.
You know what? That you mentioned Dobbs, he's out there on a lot of the wires.
Yeah.
Would you pay for him this week?
If I need a starter, yes. And I wouldn't pay that much for him, though. Right. I would make a nice, reasonable offer, depending on how much your fob is. Let's say if you're in 200 for the season league, I would probably go like $11, $13.
Okay.
But that's it.
Yeah. Gotcha. Just curious where you were at, because I did see him out there and I thought, I missed it. You know what I mean? I missed it.
And when you're out of sync with him like that, you never get back in sync.
No, and all
because then you don't trust him, you sit him and he goes off. Then you trust him, put it back in, and he fails you. Being out of sync with him and Shaheed is the most frustrating position for a manager ever in the history of fantasy football. Drives me crazy.
Well, I do have a couple of defenses. People stream that position quite a lot.
Yeah, listen, it's been amazing for me. Yes, you need listen, and I'll say this again, and I think I've said it every week. If you're not looking to score points with your defense, you're not looking matchups, making sure that you're in a position, you're losing. You're losing because some defenses are going to give you 2 points and some are going to give you 21. I wanted to play the Rams across the board
versus the Niners.
Luckily, I could only start them one time, and they stunk. They only gave me 2 points. Luckily, still pulled out the win. But you can't not be trying to score with your defense. You have to be fluid, flexible, and looking for great matchups and trying to get points with your defense. They're a big deal.
I have Denver's defense in most leagues, but I also in most leagues have multiple defenses.
Yeah.
And am flipping them in and out.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stream on weeks that I don't think look a great, if you say, oh, I got the best defense, I'll just play them every week. That's not a winning strategy.
It isn't, not anymore.
It used to be fine.
It used to be, Baltimore every week.
Correct. And there are some that are still great, but it's really hard to find one that you can just plug and play every single week and just be happy. If you should be carrying 2 defenses at most times. Just
look
at 1 week in advance.
Yeah,
always look 1 week in advance. If you don't have somebody that you need on the wire, go look at the defenses. Look at the next week, the following week. Look at your bye weeks. Maybe you score somebody you need and just stick them on the bench and wait and for that moment to arrive. But the defenses, they can help you a lot. I think both Vegas and Tennessee, who are playing each other, are great defenses this week to play.
Yeah.
Those are 2, and they're readily available. Go figure. The Patriots versus New Orleans, they're out there. I think that's a good one. And Jacksonville, I know they're playing Seattle, but we just saw, and you've been saying for a couple of weeks now, how you got to put respect on
Jacksonville's defense name. Yep.
So I'd say if we just saw a 99-yard, Patrick Mahomes pick 6 from them, and they said, and I didn't know if they said that guy. He was the defensive player of the week last week. He's the defensive player of the rookie. He's like what?
Wasn't he defensive player of the month as well?
Yeah, so now I think he's the defensive player. So this guy is like a big deal, man. He's crushing it for that defense. And sometimes even if you got to take that stink off Jacksonville's name right now. It's hard to. It's like Pitts. That's why he's still out there. There's still so much stank on him. You got to get that out of your mind and think today's price, today's situation, this is where we're at, and this deserves respect, and why not grab them? That might be a team that you can actually do that to pick and play every week. Kansas City is one of the highest scoring, or at least it used to be, one of the highest scoring offenses, and I think they scored over 20 points because of that, and they got Mahomes a few times. They made some big plays. This might be the time to grab them and check to see, like I did last night, if Green Bay is out there.
My defense.
Check to see.
Stole my defense. I couldn't carry 2 for the week because I needed wide receiver help so bad. So I had to let him go. Luckily, I kept
try to let him go like at midnight on a when no one's looking, so that what I'm saying.
Totally.
You try to like sneak them into the wires.
By the way, if you're gonna drop somebody you like, do it late at night so that hopefully no one sees the notification, and then it might still be there for you later.
Right, exactly. You could say, I'm just gonna stick this right here for now.
And I was hoping that would carry all the way through the Sunday, and then you would have to get them on the waiver wire, but then they're available on Monday. So you grabbed them. Yep, I know. And I saw that and I was like, ah.
But I had to drop Kendre Miller, which I hate to do, but I feel like I could get him later if I need to.
And I still have Indianapolis, which I just feel that defense is a great play across the season because they're in a crappy division. So a great defense in a crappy division equals 8 great games.
I'm trying to look at who they play, and I'm seeing all these.
I think it's who is it this week? It's somebody very tasty.
Yeah, it's a good. I remember it being that's going to be a great matchup.
Oh, it's Arizona. Which Kyler Murray is banged up. So he's got a foot issue. So if he can't run, oh my God, I don't even know who the backup is. But I also have Denver versus New Jersey. So it's going to be about, this is again, I have the 2 defenses that I can just, and I'm like, should we go with, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
What's your choice, Denver or what?
Denver, Indianapolis, Indianapolis versus Arizona, Denver versus the Jets. And they're playing overseas, which is always better for defense than offense.
True.
I may have to go with
Well,
Denver.
I say flip a coin. I think you're going to win
Yeah,
either
I may
way.
have to go
You're
with
gonna
Denver on that one. It depends. If Arizona doesn't, if Kyler is out this week, I'm playing Indianapolis defense all week.
Yeah, well, it might be a big help to Arizona because Kyler sucks. That whole team sucks.
Yeah, if he didn't run for at least 40 yards a game, he'd be useless.
Correct.
But if you look at his production, I mean, because of the running and with a foot injury, guess what he ain't going to do no more? But he's like 22, 17, 16, 22, 15. So,
yeah, it's serviceable. It's definitely doable. It just doesn't feel good. That's all. It doesn't feel good.
I know I lost whoever my quarterback was at the beginning of the season. And my backup was, I have Dart as the backup, and he really isn't ready to be a starter yet.
Nope.
So I had to pick up Kyler.
Yeah. But I might go look for Jordan or Trev or Caleb, at this point.
It's very thin in that particular league. They're only, honestly, my only other option if Kyler's out, I may have to go pick up Old Man Rogers or just roll with Dart.
And Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is rostered in that league too?
Of course.
You say of course. I mean,
yeah, I can tell you who the quarterbacks are right now. I could let me just
in that league.
Yeah, here you go. My quarterbacks. Here are my. This is one of my comedians leagues. Gino, your best friend.
He's dead.
Oh, that's right. Rogers, Bryce Young.
Oh, I like it.
McCarthy, who's not playing and injured. Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel, Rattler.
I like Bryce Young against Dallas. Yeah, you got Leggett coming on. You got Ted McMillan looking good. You got Dowdle over there who can catch a little bit. That might be for this week. I might do that.
Maybe that's tough.
I know.
Yeah.
None of them are good. You're right. None of those options.
None of them are better than Kyler. It's just a matter of who I use. I mean, because Rodgers is up against Cleveland, so that's bad. Geno sucks. So I would probably downshift to Bryce Young if I had to grab somebody this week.
Great matchup.
Or I just roll with Dart. But he's got the receiver issues now. I may have to go Bryce Young if that happens.
Yeah.
Oy, I may do it anyway because of the matchup. You're right. Dallas is first. I may have to just get him.
It's a great matchup.
All right. I think we did it.
Well, I got to get back to some work and then we'll reconvene and do the rest of the podcast for.
Yeah, we'll do the week 6 preview later on this week. So I hope you enjoyed the week 5 recap. This has been Fantasy Football Harsh Reality. Take care, guys. Good luck.
Good luck. Happy waiver wiring.